Okay guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. So for this video I'm going to be scrapping out a little sander just to see what sort of motor, what copper bearing material may be inside, what scrap metals I can get out of it. So first off we'll remove the actual wire at the back here, the electrical cable. So we'll try and cut through that if I can with this bad snips that I have. It's time to invest in a new snips. Okay, so we have, I'll cut off the actual plug as well. So I hold on to them plugs there because we have a little bit of brass. So I remove them brass fittings again, put them into my bucket of brass that can help with it. So I don't just do gold recovery. As you can see from my channel, a lot of them would be gold recovery videos where micro scrap out computers, stuff like that to get to the gold bearing materials. But I also do general scrapping where I scrap out other items so that I can make a bit of cash on the side. It's a good way of making a bit of extra cash from people that's throwing stuff away. So again, if you have, we'd say eventually if you get up a lot of scrap metals in copper wire, copper bearing motors, aluminium, stuff like that, you can get a nice little bit of money that way, of extra cash for yourself for any little spending that you plan on doing. Now my next issue will be, do they fit down? It does, that's okay. I should have checked that before I started, but so we'll just remove these screws. So this shouldn't be too long of a video because there's not much I'm expecting here. I'm expecting a little motor. I've already removed the base of the sander itself, which is just a plastic holder where your belt went on the sander, your little sanding pads went. We'll have a little bit of aluminium here that I can see straight off. So if you're a little bit of aluminium here, again that can be put in with your aluminium. I'll do a video someday on the buckets of stuff that I how I store the stuff, how I separate them out, stuff like that. I'll do a video in the future on that. A lot of screws in this for something that I'm not expecting a lot to be in. So guys, I know I say it on every video, please subscribe, but if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Give me a like, give me a share, whatever you want, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know how you're getting on if you're a scrapper. In your scrapping, how do you find prices at the moment, scrap prices? Are you getting good scrap prices at where you are in the world? Here in Ireland, we have a couple of scrap yards, nothing major, to be honest. Prices, the local one beside me would be very poor pricing. I've very seldom bring stuff to him anymore because of his pricing. His pricing is ridiculously low compared to other scrap yards, but the problem then is the other scrap yards I have to travel to a bigger distance, so I have to weigh up the cost of that as well. So we'll just see, I might have missed one in here. There's something hidden somewhere. Is it like the computers with the hidden screws? There's something somewhere not releasing. Let me just get a knife or a chisel or something. I'll grab a chisel. Let's see, can we split it open? So it's splitting down as far as here. So we'll just see if we can get it. Screws are out, screws are out, screws are out. So the only one the screw isn't out on is here. Now it's out, so it should just theoretically split away, but it doesn't want to. Screws out. Oh, one hidden down here that I didn't get. And there we go. It's amazing when you get the screws out. So just as I thought, as you can see from this one, there's a lot of dust put through it. Your little they're your little carbon brushes. So you have your little carbon brushes which make contact with the motor to make it work. So when your brushes wear down, you don't get, so as you can see on this one, you may have discovered the problem. The brush was completely out of the position, so it wasn't actually held in like this one where it's just spring in and out. This had completely come out of its holder, so then it wasn't making proper contact more than likely with the motor. So it would have been a simple enough fix, but as the person that gave it to me to scrap out, they didn't give it to me to fix. They didn't want it, so I just scrapped it out, as I do. I don't really fix too much stuff, to be honest with you. So again, we just remove the main power board. So that's your on-off switch. Just have your in and out power, live, neutral. Back of the board, we'll just snip off the wires. There's my little snips. Okay, so as you can see there, nothing to that board, nothing worth keeping. I'll just remove them screws, take that wire out, that's about it. So just remove that. Let's remove that. So, bit of plastic. Again, if you have someone that buys your plastic, perfect. If you don't, it's just the recycling. Okay, what have we here? Two screws holding that in. So again, plastic, nothing to it. Bit of steel with some copper wire. So again, you can unwind that wire if you want, because that's going to be bright wire, good bright wire. So you can just, let's say, snip off here. I presume I can just snip on this one to allow me to get access to it. And where is it? That's it there. So if you want, you can wind off that wire to increase the value rather than throw that in, because all you're going to get is steel price for it. You're not going to get the copper price, dirty steel or dirty copper, whichever. You're not going to get your proper full price for the copper wire. So you can break that down further. So again, I'll just snap off these little wires. So we've snapped off them wires, and we can remove that. You can remove that copper wire if you wish from it, which I would do if I was you, to increase the value. We're left in with a little copper motor of, well, copper, not really a motor, but so just have a quick look at it. See, so just have copper bearing. That's where I'd be throwing that into. I just start throwing that into my copper bearing motor. I can I'll just cut off here with a little angle grinder. Remove the little bit of aluminium, knock out the center, and that'll be it. There's not really much more I do with that. So again, I just throw that into my copper bearing material, copper bearing motors into that bucket with the rest of the motors, transformers, stuff like that. That's where that'll be going. I wouldn't waste too much time trying to break that down to get into the copper inside of it, to get this copper wire. There's too much coating on it, there's too much work to it, to be honest, for the value of it. So I don't bother, I just throw that straight into the pile, my copper pile of transformers, motors, stuff like that, and bring that along then when I've maybe 100, 150 pound, 200 pounds worth of it in weight. I'll bring that along to the scrapyard and get rid of it, and let them break it down further, and they can make the bit more money or whatever they want to do with it. So that's kind of it for this video. This is probably one of my shorter videos. It'll be something around a 10-minute video, which is unusual enough for my videos. But usually when I'm breaking down stuff like this, I don't spend much time on it, because it's not worth breaking down too far a lot of the stuff. Some of the bigger stuff like microwave, stuff like that, I will break down further, but I've other videos there, so you can have a look and you'll see a video of where I break down a microwave, for the vacuum cleaners, for the motors, for the copper wire, stuff like that. As I was saying on this, where the brush came out of the actual thing, so that was hanging out like that, to come out sideways, so that should have been in there on the spring like that. So that would have been a simple enough fix. To be honest with you, it wouldn't have been that hard of a job to put that back in, and just rather than the way it was like that, just hanging out, so it wasn't making the contact. Put it back in on the spring, the motor would go up against it, and eventually what happens is that the carbon will wear away, and you just replace them with new ones, the carbon brushes. But on a lot of the small appliances like these, people don't bother replacing the thing. So we have a little bit of brass there as well, actually, on that little connector. So again, I'll cut that connector back and I'll put that in with my brass, and again we'll have a little bit of brass here. So again, if you want to break that down further, you could take these little brass connectors off, I'm sure. Let's have a look and see, can we remove it? There we go. So, and that was your little carbon brush. So just remove that from there, and I'm left with a little bit of brass as well. So it's just mainly copper, plastic, a little bit of brass, and that's about it. Copper wire. The main thing out of this would be your copper wire, your lead coming into it, your copper wire on this item here. So there's not much to a little sander. I didn't expect there to be much. I think that sander to buy new was about 20 quid. So you're not expecting to find 50 quid's worth of stuff inside, are you? When you pay 20 quid for the whole item. So that's it for this video. Until the next one, keep on scrapping them items, guys. Don't forget, let me know what your scrap prices are at the moment around the world. We'll see, compare them to the Irish prices. I'll put a couple of prices down there and a date on them in the description, and we'll see what prices are like around the world and compare and see who's the best place for scrapping. To the next one.